What's up, good Spartans? Welcome back, and today marks the anniversary 1 year, November 2nd, that Jorge Masvidal took on Nate Diaz. Now, in this fight, it was a very good fight for Masvidal. Masvidal put a clinic on Diaz for most of the fight. He knocked him down several times throughout the fight. He knocked him down with a body kick later in the rounds. In the first round, he was able to get Nate, after piecing him up on the face, to duck directly into a head kick, which landed flush, which opened the cut, which would of course eventually lead to the fight being stopped. But the point is, minus that, when they were standing up, Masvidal was getting the better of the exchanges. When they were on the ground, Masvidal was able to get into the better positions. Nate has very good jiu-jitsu. In the first round of knocking him down, Masvidal wisely paced himself, didn't gas himself out with the punches. He picked Nate apart bit by bit. The first round could have been a 10-8 round, a little more of a 10-9, because if you pay attention, Nate was actually defending very good in that round. He was fending off Masvidal with the kicks. But as the fight progressed, it seemed whenever Nate tried to turn up the pressure, Masvidal had gauged it very well. You could see here later when Nate starts to land his 1-2s, which is what he does really best. And no offense against Nate Diaz, he's a very tough guy, a very good fighter, but he's a very sloppy striker. We're going to talk a bit about the rematch. Now, a lot of people are wondering, will Nate have a chance in the rematch? And I don't think he has a huge chance of winning. Now, that said, the first round, the fourth and fifth rounds are coming up. Masvidal, I don't think he necessarily slowed down. I do believe he was gauging himself, like he said he wasn't trying to gas himself out. But every exchange he was getting the better of, especially in the second round when Nate finally got it to the ground, where you thought, oh, Nate's jiu-jitsu would take over. He quickly reversed and was right back on top. And the second round was stopped. If there was more time in that round, he would have gotten more ground and pound, and it probably would have been TKO stoppage right there. When the third round was stopped, and Nate had actually landed, he actually cut Masvidal in that round when he landed that big 1-2 back-to-back on him. Took him down again. He started to hit from the bottom, started to slap. That's where he said what's up to him. But again, when Masvidal got in the better position, he started to pound him. If there was more time in that round, I still think the fight would have been stopped anyway in Jorge's favor. Now, the question of a rematch is, remember when Nate fought Conor, Nate was getting pieced up the first fight around. He was cut really badly in that fight. He was getting beat down. But Nate has a lot of power in his hands. He's a big, people try to say Khabib was a big 155er. Nate's a big 155er. And he hit Conor with some serious power, took him down, choked him out. The thing was, Nate himself said in a rematch he didn't think that Conor would be able to touch him. However, when the rematch came around, Conor dropped him 3 times in the very first round. And people were saying, are you daring to compare Jorge to Conor? Well, I can do that, but that's not necessarily what I'm doing. My point is, Jorge's striking it's on that same level of theirs. He's got elite striking, and the fight showed it. He beat the absolute brakes off of Nate Diaz in their fight. He beat him really badly. And, at the end of all, well, not the end of the first one, the beginning of the first one, he almost stopped Nate. In the end of the other two, if there was more time, I feel he still would have got a stoppage, a TKO stoppage, with the ground and pound he was landing. So my opinions on the rematch, I think the thing is, a lot of people are saying we're going to see more aggressive Nate. That is probably very much true. He's had a lot of time off to relax, to rethink his game plan. But, like I said, Conor McGregor, I think that is the only rematch Nate has had, if I'm correct. I don't think he's had any other back-to-back fights. But in that fight, we saw Conor make a lot of improvements. Nate still made some improvements. He didn't get hit. He didn't get cut. He didn't get beat up. He didn't look as badly as he did the first fight around at the beginning of the fight. But I do believe that Conor still got the better of Nate in that fight, especially in the striking exchange. And with what we've seen from Masvidal, we've seen how he's able to, on the inside. A lot of people talk about how Nate works on the inside. That's usually when he wears people down. And Masvidal is used to, people used to call him a decision machine. He has 15 wins by decision. So he's used to going that longer distance. So I don't see Nate tiring him out like he does other people. And again, the same way that Nate's been thinking about this fight and this rematch and get ready to go, so is Masvidal. And Masvidal wants another title shot. He knows he's really got to finish Nate. If he comes out here and becomes the first person to actually stop Nate by rendering him unconscious, it wouldn't be a huge shock to me. I mean, he knocked out Darren Till. He knocked out Ben Askren, and people like to argue about whether Askren was good enough to be in there or not. Okay, you can argue that all you want to. He buzzed Nate in their fight when he hit him with that kick. You know, the same way I think it was Thompson who hit Nate with that famous kick where he was the only TKO stoppage where he was rocked and actually hurt. But the point is, he outstruck him, and in a few months, well, it's not been a few months, it's been a full year. But unless you're really training consistently, you can't just automatically, make all the necessary changes to adapt to beat a guy like that. It's different if somebody beats you with what they call a lucky shot, or they rush in quicker than you expected. I don't believe there's such thing as lucky punches, by the way, because you throw punches intentionally. A punch can do more damage than you expected, but you still threw it on purpose. That's why I say lucky shot when people say that. But you can't just make the necessary changes overnight to do that. And how seriously has Nate been preparing for him? And again, Masvidal's been in the gym. He's been training. He's been trying to get better every area around. And I don't think he's sleeping on any of his opponents, even though he beat Nate up really badly in that fight, even though he won all 3 of those rounds. I still don't think he's sleeping on him. I think he wants to do even better. I'm hoping he comes with that same attitude that he went there with the first fight around. And I hope Nate is as well. I'm not trying to say that Nate can't fight. I just believe that Masvidal is better technically than he is, and that I hope we get a good scrap. I really hope we don't get another stoppage for a cut, because Nate does cut easily. Nate, he's got sloppy striking. What he does have that helps him, his chances of winning. He's got good cardio. He does have power in his hands. He can hurt somebody when he hits him. There's few times he did hit Masvidal, like you can see here, he actually did do some damage. And he's got the jiu-jitsu. And you could see that when Masvidal knocked him down, he wasn't trying to, in the first round, he wasn't trying to play with Nate jiu-jitsu. He was trying to keep it. He was trying to stand up and ground and pound, which now allowed Nate to recover, but he didn't want to get caught in a quick submission, which is smart. So we know he's coming in there with a technical aspect. But again, whenever Nate tried to force the fight in a different direction, Masvidal easily turned the fight in his favor. Even like I said, when Nate did start landing 1-2s and tried to get on a roll, Masvidal closed distance, reverse position, and then either took Nate down like he did in the 3rd round, and 2nd round, and pound him out, or he fought him really well on the inside with his elbows, and then got on the outside and was kicking Nate with those legs, kicking Nate with his legs. And again, what if Masvidal comes out with a leg kick this time? We all know Nate has a problem with leg kickers, same with his brother. So I think the odds are really in Masvidal's favor in a rematch. At the same time, I really hope that we get a really good fight. If there's a stoppage, a legit stoppage, someone gets knocked out, someone gets submitted, or there's a good TKO, that's good. I wouldn't like to see a doctor stoppage, but like I said, I'm glad that people do care about the fighters and say, hey, cut the fight off. I just don't think that was necessary in that scenario. But I do hope we get a good fight. If it goes to 4 or 5 rounds, that would be really exciting. I do hope we get some more competitiveness out of Nate. I hope he's coming to turn the pressure just a little bit more. I know he's a 4th and 5th round fighter. He strives in those areas, but he's really got to bring it against Masvidal, because I sincerely believe Masvidal really wants another title shot, and this is ideal for him just to keep that that hype going that he's built up, and not a hype train like he can't fight, but again, winning is gonna get the people to watch you, and this is stylistically this is a more exciting fight than him fighting anybody else in the division. So let's go and see what happens.